at the Shriners Auditorium.
We
Jamming.
got 26, Furious Oxide. And who is he up against? He's up against Conlon, number 2 from Maelstrom. And also lead.
We're waiting to get some stats up here. We don't quite have them ready just yet, so we're just going to call the game as we see it. Lead jam, of course, goes to Maelstrom to start with. And Furious Oxide is back. Now, I know Furious Oxide by dance party.
Yeah, as I was looking, I'm like,
he refs his dance party up in the northern New England area. Always been a great part of games I've been involved with, so it's fun to see him jamming here. He's having a little bit of a tough time with the wall as Stryker and Colleran and Pickering here, and he finally squeaks through on the inside of corner 3. Pickering's not going to give him up, gives him a little bit of chase, but coming in for his second scoring pass is Colleran, number 2. Goes to the outside, a little bit of offensive help, picks up another bit of his scoring pass. Did he get all the points?
Not seeing hands up yet. I don't see it. Oh, yes, he did. He did get all 4 of those points
all
on that
4
pass.
points. So we haven't seen that move on the scoreboard here for you yet. We'll look, just waiting for that scorekeeper. It took the jam ref a little while. I think he had to do a little consulting about hip positions and stuff. He is still flashing his score to the scoreboard, and we're getting a nod, so we'll see that. Oh. So instead of changing it to 9, they changed the score on your scoreboard to 4. I believe the score that you're seeing is technically the current score, so a little bit of a mistake there, I think, miscommunication. I think they thought he meant that he was changing the score rather than giving him another scoring pass. At the moment, 4-0 mass to Casco, and it is number 22, Andy, lead jammer for the Maelstrom. Andy knocked out of bounds.
And he's up against number 7-4, Rock This for Casco Bay. And just so you know, blue on the track is Maelstrom, Casco Bay is in white.
Dark Devader is the one really doing all these knockouts here on Andy. He's wearing the pivot cover for Casco Bay, and he's really keeping his team together on the track at this moment. Andy found a little bit of a hole, but gets knocked back by Deep Insider. Deep Insider has some offensive blocking by Mass Maelstrom, and Andy gets through. Cut track on
Rock This.
Rock This. He's hitting the penalty box. Going to take a little break there. Hoping for a cut track there by Nurse Smash. It doesn't get it. Andy is back in on another scoring pass. 15 points so far. That should make 20, but he doesn't hold that tightrope line, falls in bounds, cycles back to attempt the score again, and knocked out of bounds by Dark Devader.
But he also had taken himself out of bounds, so that's just a no pass, no penalty.
Actually picks up all 5 points, probably passed him earlier.
Must have,
with that
yep.
cycling back. He'd already picked up his point before. Getting a little bit of help from Jaybert here, Andy. Little offensive help. He gets knocked in bounds and gets only 3 points. Only winning 20 points in that jam. It brings Maelstrom 23 points, to 27. Casco still on the board at 0.
But maybe that's going to change.
I think we picked up our 5 points from earlier now.
Yes.
We've moved up to 28-point jam. I'm not sure if that extra 5 points is from the earlier jam or there was a scoring pass missed on this. But I'm going to go with that first jam. Bear, I'm going to leave it to you while I try and get our stats up.
Yep. So we have 305 Grim Demise for Casco Bay up against number 26, Kenny Cloud Kicker, who is your lead jammer and is already on his first scoring pass and has now completed. Yeah, the grand slam. Yep. Grim Demise is getting caught up in those walls. No big deal. And Stryker really holding that wall. Good bracing here.
Grim has some amazing footwork. Used to skate for Maine Roller Derby. For a while, she helped start Resurgence up there, but she skates with Casco Bay here. And
Kenny
through
Cloud
for
Kicker.
another scoring pass. That's
Just taking that wall apart piece by piece.
slowly picking them apart. Grim Demise just can't seem to get through and not really getting any help from her team. I shouldn't even say not really. Just plain not getting any offensive help from her team. They're playing all defense. Cloud Kicker cycling back.
She has now made it through on her initial pass.
It only took her 1:20, but she is through. She's got to put some pressure on. This Cloud Kicker kind of stumbles out of bounds, but takes his points. 19 points that jam, keeping Casco Bay still scoreless. 51-0 in the first 5.5 minutes of this game.
Familiar face from our earlier game, My Baby Daddy, taking the line for Maelstrom.
He was the high scorer earlier today, put over 100 points on the board himself against Collision Men's Roller Derby.
And we got Dark Devader out for Casco, who is doing a pretty fair job of getting through that Maelstrom defense and lead jammer for it.
Nice spin move there on the outside between corners 1 and 2. He picks up lead, but he's only got about 30 feet on My Baby Daddy, and the whole pack is picking up speed. The Maelstrom, of course, leading this charge, accepting the surge, keeping the team pointless, and My Baby Daddy, with a little more speed, is able to catch the pack and start to do some point. Dark Devader knocked out of bounds by Hasselman. Hasselman's going to try and draw him back. Hasselman gets knocked out of bounds by Dottie Danger, who's now going to the penalty box. Dark Devader just kind of coasted back and waited till the Maelstrom jammer came around again and called off the jam. I think that they're really just trying to burn some time. I think they know that this is a losing game, and by burning time, they keep that point spread a little lower. So time management, I think, is part of their arsenal to keep the score what it needs to be for them.
But he was careful to call off the jam before the Maelstrom was able to get any more points on that.
Exactly. That's kind of, you wait to the last moment. Ferrous Oxide jamming for Casco Bay. Cilantro for Maelstrom. This is a different jammer lineup, I think. A little more cilantro on so far than we saw in the earlier game.
We did not see Kenny Cloud Kicker at all during the earlier
Right,
game.
exactly. So Maelstrom, when you play these tournaments, we see different people playing different roles. You make choices based on the teams you're playing and the teams you're going to play. Casco Bay, cut track, unfortunately, there for Ferrous Oxide. His skate in that turn came around over the rope, and he came completely back in. 5 points on the board right now for Cilantro, though.
As well as lead jam. I don't know if we got a chance to mention that. It happened so fast.
Yeah, and other things were going on with Furious we were talking about. Through for another 5 points. Cilantro, 10 points so far this jam.
And Dottie Danger is joining her jammer in the box.
Just leaves 2 blockers out on the track for Casco. I'm sorry, 3 blockers. 1 goat there was a little hard to see at first, but Head Bruiser managed to get out of there without breaking the pack and rejoin his team at the front. Pickering playing some offensive blocking with the rest of his pack doing a beautiful bridge back to make Fears go as far back as possible to come in. Fears still on his initial pass. Getting a little help from Grim Demise.
Dottie Danger, actually.
I'm sorry, thank you. Dottie Danger. And he took it, but he was just a little slow. And Maelstrom was just back up faster, and those offensive blocks only last so long. A knockout by 108. Shazama Pajama is drawing him back.
Casco Bay still being held scoreless, though.
15 points that jam for the Maelstrom. 18 points brings them to 74-0. With by the time we start this next jam, 10 minutes expired on the clock. Hey, you can talk to us about this game at hashtag BOBH 2016. So Tara asked about the camera being slightly out of focus. We are using a webcam because of the system here. The Maelstrom's come a long way in figuring out their equipment here at the Battle of Bunker Hill, but it's getting better all the time.
It's getting better all the time. Thank you, Beatles reference.
5 points in the air for lead jammer.
That's Conlon out there at lead. And looks like that's Dark Devader is jammer for Casco Bay. And he is just stuck in that pack. Getting some good offensive help from his
that's
pack.
Dark Devader.
I don't think you're right.
You do think I'm right.
I'm about to say I don't think it is. I think you're right.
Oh, there you go. We just missed a couple words. So he took his cover off for a moment. I believe that is Rock This, but we'll know for sure. Yeah, that is Rock This.
That is Rock This, yeah.
Coming around. He took his cover up. I think he was going to do his stash. Apparently he changed his mind. He is not getting any offensive help. Casco Bay has decided they need all 4 blockers on defense at the moment. And Rock This taking another shot at the rear wall of Maelstrom. Mars Travolta bringing him back into corner 3, and this
with an assist from Mycopathic Chiller.
Maiko's out here. We didn't see Maiko, I don't think, in the last game.
Think he was in the first
She's
game,
getting a little play time this time. Now this is the same ref crew that we saw at the first game. Each of these ref crews, there are 2 ref crews here on skates. And the NSO seem to be cycling a little bit more, but the ref crews are alternating. They each have 3 games today, so it's a lot of skating for these officials out there. 20 points on the board now for Conlon. 25 brings the Maelstrom to 104.
And we did have a successful star pass. 207 is now jammer, mini fridge. And just about the time he gets the cover on, jammer's called off.
Maelstrom is going to keep them scoreless. It's kind of demoralizing, I think, to have that goose egg on the board 13 minutes into the game. I think we'll see Casco get some points, though.
I think so. Well, it's up to Grim Demise for this jam.
Against Kenny Cloudkicker for the Maelstrom.
He is currently their highest scoring jammer.
No, you're looking at Collision versus...
I was not. I was looking at Kenny Cloudkicker right down there. 24 points. Up.
Collision versus Hooligans. Oh. All right, we are seeing the current game.
It's just being listed as something different.
I think I know what I need to switch to. Here we go. Well, this will refresh for us eventually. I'm sorry, Bear.
Right.
We're trying to get some stats for you at home. You can watch the stats at boomkitty.com. Look at the remote viewer, and you'll be able to follow along with the stats when that gets going there. I think I just haven't refreshed things correctly on my screen. So we do have a lead jammer. It is once again the Maelstrom jammer. Kenny Cloudkicker. There we go.
And Kenny Cloudkicker is your lead jammer.
I am sorry for the confusion.
We have had a star pass from Grim Demise to Darth Vader.
Darth Vader is waving it around
like in hand, yeah.
like a white flag there. Everyone's coming back to the outside of corner 2. Oh, Cloudkicker goes for that, and he scooch on the inside, and he just steps out of bounds. Drawn, I'm not quite sure how he's drawn so far back. I don't actually see any white blockers that far back, but he went back that far.
Hey, better safe than sorry, right? You don't want those penalties.
I guess so. And a knockout of bounds there by Head Bruiser. Brings Kenny Cloudkicker pretty far back as well. And finally, through the pack is Dark Devader. He's going to come around now, put that pressure on for Cloudkicker to call it off. Cloudkicker got all 5 points. That was a long time coming to get 5 points for Maelstrom in this game. All right, so we have some stats up there now. So
yeah, you might call that a victory, though, for Casco, holding them to only 5.
Oh, absolutely. Over that long of a time, I think this works very well into their strategy. Excellent defensive work by the Casco pack out there for the games we've been seeing here. 427, some skater named X jamming against Andy. Andy for the Maelstrom, X for Casco Bay. X gets lead. This is a chance now for the Casco Bay to put some points on the board. Of course, the Maelstrom's going to speed it up. I hope in my heart of hearts that they stay in this till they get points, no matter what the Maelstrom does. There we go.
At least 2.
At least 1 on the board. That's going to change
he
that.
Got all 4.
All 4 points.
That's a morale boost right there. Oh, and now they're only getting 1.
I'm sorry. That is 1 point for Casco Bay.
But they got
all
it on there. They are
4
on
points
the board.
for Maelstrom.
They're on the board.
On the board, 116 to 1. We have more than half of the first period is over. And that 1 point put up there by some skater named X. Well, now we see Cilantro back on the jam line against Dark Devader. Everyone's starting back at the Polar Seltzer jammer line these days. We've got the scrums back there. Not too much activity, though, in the Brews Boutique penalty box.
And watch your screen. They have some amazing medics and EMTs here, and they are keeping the benches, making sure they walk by occasionally. Would you like some ice?
2 leads in a row for Casco Bay as Dark Devader gets through that last offender who gets sent to the penalty box for the out-of-play block. Dark Devader steals himself for this wall from Maelstrom. One last hit by, no big deal. Collar comes up for a last hit. There is a cover pass by the Maelstrom.
Cover stash, not
stash.
pass.
Excuse me, thank you so much. Because that is Cilantro. Took it off, put it right back on. He's going to come in for some scoring points. But Dark Devader already with 2 points there now for Cilantro. 2 points also for Casco Bay. A 7-2 jam for Casco. That was excellent work here. 13 minutes left in the jam. 118-8 is the score here. Maelstrom versus Casco Bay. Okay, so we've had a wardrobe change here for Choch.
Yes, and I've heard tell it was actually demanded by her team. We know you've got another dress in the car.
Same shoes, though.
Yes.
My baby daddy, around and scoring, already picked up his jammer lap point.
Against Mini Fridge, who is just having quite a time with those Maelstrom blockers.
I think we should pay attention that we do have who our pivot is. I'm sorry, for Casco Bay. I'm having a little Crim Demise, I believe, is pivoting for Casco Bay. We might see that cover switch. Just keep an eye on where she is. She's doing an awful lot of offensive work right now, trying to help her jammer through. It looks like Casco Bay has almost gone to straight up offense at this point in time. Maybe believing that sometimes the best defense is a good offense, but now they're back on the defensive end. They've got a triangle up front against My Baby Daddy. It's working rather effectively. Maelstrom comes up to bust that up a little bit. Definitely seeing some different blockers out there with Jaybert and Mycopathic Chiller out there now with the Maelstrom. People we didn't see in the earlier game. My Baby Daddy goes for an apex jump, but he is foiled by Head Bruiser, who gets a little butt in there on his flight. Head Bruiser knocked her out of bounds too, but he's back in. 5 points.
Yeah, and at the back of the pack, we got Mars Travolta just
decimating Mini Fridge. Yep. It's almost like he's opening the door and taking out a beer every time. You're asked for that when you have a name like Mini Fridge, which is a great name, by the way. I think it's perfectly appropriate. 25 points so far this jam for My Baby Daddy. And that is going to make 30. So far, that is the biggest jam score I've seen today.
I think so.
30 points for My Baby Daddy.
Which just puts him as the top jammer for this game.
Yeah, he hasn't been.
Assuming that the stats get updated.
Yeah. That is everyone. So the Maelstroms put 5 different jammers in there so far. My Baby Daddy, Cilantro, Annie, Kenny Cloudkicker, and R. Conlon, 2 jams each. That's a pretty deep jammer rotation. Until you look at Casco Bay, who's put 6 different jammers in there, with Mini Fridge and some skater named X only doing 2. So here we have Andy out there jamming.
Another skater
named X is back out there. 5 points for Andy.
There's some kind of detritus on the track. Can't tell if it's a part of a skate or if it's just something from the venue.
Where are you seeing that? Oh, out in the corner one there where everyone's kind of clustered around.
Yeah, skaters helping out the refs, getting that stuff off the track, making it safe again.
Well, nothing like being a great wall and then getting your wall foiled by debris on the track. A power jam now for Casco Bay on a skating out of bounds for Andy. Andy is going to report to the penalty box. Grim Demise now has the jammer covered.
Yep, we have
she was a pivot. And she got knocked out of bounds, had to cycle back, dragged a toe. She's out of bounds again on a knockout by Pickering.
She does have one offensive blocker on her side. Everybody else is kind of hanging back, saying
deep inside her, making those holes for her. Knocked out of bounds again by Pickering. That was not Pickering. Pickering helped with the bridge.
Casco Bay, I think their strategy right now is just make sure once she gets hit out that Maelstrom's blockers cannot recycle her back too far.
Yeah, those soul crushes have been killing me. And there is one right there. That is Colleran drawing her way back. And Andy back to the penalty box for a low block. In stereo bear. That was awesome.
Yep, took out Fierce Oxide. Wasn't sure he was getting back up for a second, but he's tough.
Oh, Grim Demise with a great spin move. Finds herself at the end of that 2 minutes at the feet of Fierce Oxide.
And actually, that was not Grim Demise. That was Dottie Danger.
They have different color hair. I don't even know why I'm getting them mixed up. They have very similar skating styles,
They do.
They really do. Come from the same school of fast footwork out there. 1:58 to 8 minutes left on the first clock for the first period. This is the Mass Maelstrom taking on Casco Bay, the third game of the Battle of Bunker Hill tournament. You can talk to us at BOBH 2016.
Zelda Dangerous, apologies. We apparently are. Oh, so it's Dark Evader.
Yeah,
okay,
we have
so
a
we're
typo on our paperwork,
There we
I
go.
guess.
Yep.
It's possible, though, that we got this right off of the Men's Roller Derby Association rosters. So I've seen a lot of errors on that. It's hard telling where that came from.
Make sure we put that E in there.
Yeah, it'd be worth checking that out on the Men's Roller Derby Association site. Lead jammer goes to Andy out of the penalty box now. And back in and playing, and it is Dark Evader jamming for Casco Bay. He's got one toe stop out, one toe stop in, trying to see if he could get by. We have the cover stash now. I'm sorry, we're going to stop talking about that last play. We're on to a new one. Evader has stashed the cover. I'm not sure if we're actually going to see it past number 74, Rockfist, who is his pivot.
He's staying close, though, so he is ready to help his jammer out if need be.
Just swept right out of bounds by Frank, but then Frank knocked out of bounds by Rockfist. Andy drawn way back behind Conlin, thank you.
Not a problem.
Evader back here, taking a break, leaning on his knees, looking at this tripod of Maelstrom skaters, and it is just Hasselman in front of him at the moment, and he gets by. Gonna put the pressure on now. I don't think that the Maelstrom wants to let him get too many points. Nice little hop, skip, and a jump for Andy. Picks up 4. Andy calls it off. All right, Bears, 6 minutes left in this first period. Mass Maelstrom 172 to 8. I don't think this is our worst spread of the tournament.
No, it was in fact until that last game between Capital District and the Hooligans, the closest point spread, I believe, was 185 points. So we're still well within that.
Yeah. So that 107. Say that again?
Before the Hooligans trauma game, right before this one, the smallest point spread at a final score was, I believe, 185 points. So right now, Casco is holding Maelstrom within that. Previously
really close though.
Yes.
It is a 164 point spread right now. Casco is still not out of the single digits Our biggest spread so far this tournament was the shock exchange over the Trauma Authority, 494 to 30. We are almost on track to that kind of point spread here against Casco, though, too. The clock is stopped at 5:49. We have a timeout for Casco Bay. They're first. I think it's the first timeout of the period.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So now we have Grim Demise for real out on the jammer line
Grim Demise for real
against
on the jammer
Cilantro.
line. Now, the Casco Bay taking a halfway up the starting area stance with their wall, leaving the rear wall by the Pole and Seltzer.
Oh, we have a jammer
airline.
drawback.
Yeah, huge jammer drawback. We're looking for maybe getting a negative lap point on here. Oh, no, and we are not going to get the negative lap point. Really
Pretty
smart
close,
skating.
though. Got that pack moving because she got her pack moving and said, hey.
And she burned 16 seconds of time here. And time is really on. It's really something that Casco Bay has to manage. And Grim Demise is through
And
for
she's
lead.
Now
30
that's some
seconds.
impressive
30
skating.
seconds, that's right. And still on the initial pass
Is Cilantro.
is Cilantro. And, you got some appreciation out of the fans here. There's definitely some clapping and cheering like, yeah, that was some good derby that we just saw right there. Coming out of Casco Bay.
Cilantro has now completed his initial pass. And Grim Demise is like, yep, not going to give those points away.
But she takes two. She got two on the track.
Which was the jammer lap point because she had passed him and got one blocker.
There you are.
That's good when they have a little bit of fun. It's good strategy and it was just a little bit fun for the venue too.
Well, that 2 points brought Casco to double digits. They have 10 to the Maelstrom's 172.
And Darky Vader, I believe, against Kenny Cloud Kicker. And it seems to be a little bit more life in the Casco Bay blockers right now. They're like, we can do this. Oh, so close. Darky Vader almost got that. He just had one more to go.
And he didn't get it. And who was the one more? Was it Jaybird?
That was Jaybird.
Excellent. Some great work there from Jaybird. Oh,
That was
a big forearm he hit, but he didn't really stop his forward motion or knock him out of bounds. So no impact there, and we have 5 points for Kenny Cloud Kicker. Now, Kenny Cloud Kicker used to skate for Connecticut Death Quads,
Yes.
right? We have a couple of previous Death Quads here on the Maelstrom. To the penalty box is Rockfist, the pivot for Casco Bay. I'm going to take a break there in the Bruise Boutique penalty box.
And unfortunately, we had a stash from Darky Vader, and now his pivot's in the box, so he's going to have to keep chugging away at this, at least for the next 30 seconds.
No, he stepped out, and I think he thought he came back in time. He didn't get the cut track from his jam ref. He got the cut track from an outside pack ref. Interesting angle, but he's still going to the box with the jammer cover in his hand.
From the perspective of a jam ref, you become very appreciable of those outside pack refs.
Absolutely.
Because when those, especially with these, big,
Dense
dense packs, you don't often see that little, because it just takes one wheel to make that cut track happen. So.
Well, and those outside pack refs are incredibly important to pick up the whole part of the game that goes out there. 26.5 feet away from those jam refs sometimes.
Right?
All right.
So Maelstrom will be starting with a power jam because Darth Vader is still sitting in the penalty box.
Conlon's going to have the star for that, for the Maelstrom. The cover is back on, Evader.
And we are having a Nesset pivot line start at this moment. They're so far away.
Well, so far away. So we have a pack advantage for the Maelstrom because Casco also has one blocker in the Bruise Boutique penalty box. Conlon really not having too much trouble getting past
Naughty Danger.
Naughty Danger, thank you.
That's what I'm here for, right?
Lead jam for the Maelstrom.
And Darky Vader is returning to the track on the penalty box.
So we're only in jam 15. I think that says something. One of these long jams where Maelstrom's just racking up points, but I think there's also been some time management here from Casco Bay. Trying to make sure that the time they spend losing is as little as possible.
I see on our Twitter feed we got some cheering for both Maelstrom and Casco Bay.
That's right. Calm, strong together. You guys got this from Jumpy McGee. And Twin State was giving a shout out earlier to My Baby Daddy, who coaches Twin State Roller Derby. They are one of the new WFTDA apprentice leagues from Enfield, New Hampshire. Conlon picks up his points and calls it. Another 4 points for him, and that brings Maelstrom in the double century mark, 2:06. After a 14-point jam, Casco Bay still at 10. Haven't scored in a few jams now.
So how are we doing? Who's got our lead, our point scorers for each team now?
Well, Cloud Kicker is the highest scoring skater for Maelstrom right now at 49, followed by Andy at 44. On the Casco Bay side, Dark Evader has 7 to Grim Demise 2. 1 for X. My Baby Daddy, who we were talking about before, he is out there jamming now for the Maelstrom, has just lapped.
Does Nurse Smash It?
Nurse Smash It. Now, I think that's the first time we've seen
I think
Nurse
that's the first
Smash It
time
out
he's
there.
jammed, yep. Today at least.
Yeah, it is. Number 140, Nurse Smash It. He's been drawback again, that time by Hasselman. A second scoring pass for My Baby Daddy. Gives him 10 points.
And we have a cut track on Nurse Smash It, so
he throws his hands in the air, wags his head as a bench as he goes by. My Baby
Daddy.
Daddy.
Apology or this is how it's going.
This is gonna happen when I'm jamming. See, I told you. No, I'm hoping that's not what he's saying.
Probably not.
Jay Burt, nice little drawback there. My Baby Daddy gets a little offensive help from Mars Travolta, who kind of gets thrown in and spins kind of like a cyclone, little Tasmanian devil going through the Casco Bay pack. My Baby Daddy, a small apex jump, lands it nice without any misconducts, comes in and is pushing the Casco Bay walkers out in a nice line out of corner 4. Way out of play.
Yeah, Maelstrom was waiting for Smash It to come back in. Had him all strung out and bridged out.
Hasselman on the knockout, draws him back into corner 3. And they line up again near the jammer line. Frank that time with the knockout. Not a lot of drawback there. They're just having fun knocking him out, giving him a little bit of coming back. He's doing those sweeping returns, and we hear the bench counting down the jam clock. It's going to be the end of the period when this jam runs out because the 5 have put up a ton of points. And it is My Baby Daddy out there, lead jammer for the Maelstrom. Some skater named X is jamming for Casco Bay. Not so Jolly Rogers. He gets through. He's going to put some pressure on. My Baby Daddy just gets that 1 4-point scoring pass in, bringing the Maelstrom to 248. Casco's still at 10. Now, Casco was scoreless for more than half of that first period until they started putting some points on the board. Now it's Conlon on the jam line versus Grim Demise for Casco Bay. I am almost blinded by the sparkliness of Coach Haley. Sent to the penalty box. Grim Demise picks up a cut track early on. And lead jam goes to Conlon. Not so Jolly Rogers are taking a front line here. Got a little diamond with a triangle with a sweep. But Mars Travolta opens that diamond right up. And that lets Conlon go through here, right in corner 3, right in front of our announcer table.
And Head Bruiser joins his jammer in the box.
Maelstrom still with a full pack and a lot of offensive blocking. Leaves only Zap out there to deal with Conlon, and he just didn't really have anything to do it. Grim Demise back out on jamming. She tries to take a little defensive work against Conlon, but Conlon manages to just stick that line.
She got a good offensive assist from who was that?
Well, we'll catch them when they come back around, but she did get through that pack and forces the call off. Another 4 points. It was an 18-point jam for Conlon. Still nothing this period for Casco Bay. Jamming now for the Maelstrom is Cilantro, and he is on the line against, it looks like Rock This.
I believe you're right.
Is Rock This in a derby stance or coughing? I couldn't quite tell. Takes an outside line, goes to the inside, gets knocked out by Stryker. Stryker is helped out there by Colleran on the drawback, and this is Dottie Danger on the drawback for Cilantro. Gets back in and reforms her wall. The rest of the Not So Jolly Rogers are a little spread out. Last line of defense for Maelstrom now.
That was Mini Fridge giving one last shot at Cilantro. Cilantro is now your lead jammer.
That took a little while there.
It did take a little while.
Almost 30
Rock
seconds.
got out almost right after him, so he's not going to have much time to score. Sure enough, got that call off.
Yeah, out of the pack backwards, picks up 4 points. We're going to reset this again. We're in jam number 4 now, I believe. Maelstrom at 270. Casco still at 10.
So before this game, picked up a cute little skater fun fact. Apparently, Stryker from Maelstrom broke his skates and is on a borrowed set of skates today. Rainbow skates, and so he decided to wear pink socks so he would match his borrowed skates.
Well, as if we couldn't detect his skating before, he's going to really stand out now.
And we've got a cut track on Andy, so...
Andy holding his hands up in the air, he's signaling a no pack.
We got a cut track right behind him on Darky Vader. So jammer swap out from the Bruise Boutique.
Yeah, there was about a 3-second penalty, so we're going to see Vader come right out here. We're going to play some derby again, but now for the 2-minute kind.
Yes, this will be the longest jam of their lives at this half.
Yes, I think that I actually have had a jam longer than 2 minutes, but it's the longest legal jam of 2 minutes. A beautiful knockout. That was kind of weird.
It was.
Yeah, a knockout there by 106. 108? Was that Shazama Pajama?
Good track awareness by Darky Vader to not get the cut track. Just, wrong foot's going to be picked up. Got to get back and recycled.
Yeah, right up the inside line here in the backside straightaway. Andy with some spins and jukes and jumps picks up 4 points. Brings his score to 8 for the jam. 45 seconds left in this jam. Darky Vader is out. He's going to put some points up now. Oh, I mean, he already did put some points out.
Yeah, that was his first scoring pass.
He's got 33 seconds on the clock. We're going to see somebody goes for an apex jump. Tries to land it.
Unsuccessful.
Where Mycopathic Chiller was. Mycopathic denied him re-entry, basically just by holding his spot.
Yeah, which is sometimes all you have to do.
Yeah, great location awareness for Myco.
But that will be another 4 points for Casco, so... Yeah. This is actually the highest scoring jam for Casco for this game.
Absolutely. It's not their first double scoring pass, but 8 is more than 7. And I think he might have a couple more points there. Another 4 points. 12 points. More than doubles. Casco scored a 22. Not without Maelstrom getting 19, but keeping them to 7-point spreads. Pretty good for Casco Bay. If they could do all the jams like that, it'd be a much different picture than it's been so far. Cloud Kicker out there now against some skater named X. So yeah, we have mentioned the Maelstrom's playing a 5-jammer rotation. That's pretty deep for the Maelstrom. We didn't see that in their earlier game today. Well, it's got a lot of whistles going on. It is a cut track against X. And right behind him is his pivot, Grim Demise. They're both going to sit down at the same time in the Bruise Boutique penalty box.
But Nurse Matchett, who had reported earlier, is going to be released, so at least they won't have everyone off the track at once.
That's it. We'll be back to a 3-skater pack out there. We have Dottie Danger out there.
And I believe that is...
Renegade Matt. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wrong side of the roster. I have no idea who the other blocker is. We'll find out in a moment.
240. Or 140.
Their numbers are very narrower on their sleeves. It's got to be a challenge to the refs. Nicely contrasting, but they get to be a little hard to read sometimes.
140. Nurse Smash It.
Nurse Smash It. But he'd been in the penalty. Well, it's 20 points so far on the scoreboard for Cloud Kicker this jam. X is trying to do some fancy toe stop work on the outside of corner 1. Gets drawn all the way back by Colleran, all the way back to the jammer line. Good 40 feet there.
We got Pickering reporting to the penalty box. I believe that was a forearm call.
5 more points for Cloud Kicker brings him to 25. He's got 18 seconds on the clock. He might be able to beat My Baby Daddy's 30-point jam. We'll take a look at it. This scoring pass is going to tell that story, whether they tie. Grim Demise for one last sweep. He calls it off with 1 second left on the clock with 4 more points. 29-point jam. A really good, respectable jam for Cloud Kicker. That's going to change his stats quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, it brings Cloud Kicker up to the highest scoring jammer now in the game at 78 points of the Maelstrom's 318. 21-25 on the period clock. Casco Bay at 22. So, as we said earlier, this game is rivaling the 460-point spread that Shock Exchange put on CDTA earlier yesterday.
And we have Mini Fridge out there jamming against My Baby Daddy. Is this his first time in the rotation?
No, we've seen Mini Fridge
one
other time out there. He didn't put any points on, and he lost
he is lead
30.
jammer.
He managed to get lead jammer this time. That is amazing.
I think partially in thanks to a penalty by Stryker, who is now sitting in the Bruce Boutique penalty box.
Well, when one of your most challenging blockers to get by is taken off the track by penalty, that makes a big difference. My Baby Daddy not lead, spinning around. He passes Mini Fridge. Mini Fridge takes the knees right behind the rear wall there of the Maelstrom.
And joining Stryker in the penalty box from Casco Bay is number 68, Zap.
My Baby Daddy tries to take a toe stop down the inside, and number 40, Pure Oxide now in the penalty box for a low block on.
And Head Bruiser also joining. I believe it was a forearm call on that one.
Now, this is going to be real tough for Mini Fridge now to be down 2 of his blockers, but he does still have his pivot out there, rock this. Mini Fridge still working on his initial, he's on his scoring pass.
He's on a scoring
because
pass.
He is lead, so he probably won't pass that cover. Wonder if he even realizes or remembers that he's lead.
Well, I think part of their strategy might be to just get points on the board, even if Maelstrom is also getting points on the board. Just get, burn that clock time, see if you can get some extra points up there.
So only 4 points for My Baby Daddy in that last pass. Brings the Maelstrom at 13. Mini Fridge has 4 points on the board. Knocked out by Pickering and drawn back. My Baby Daddy coming out of the jammer line. That jam gets called for 2 minutes.
Got another 2 points off that one.
Well, there you go. Mini Fridge moves up to the second highest scorer for Casco Bay. Only after Grim Demise. I don't know that that's exactly what he was expecting.
Dark Devader actually is leading them, I believe.
Oh, leading. I said second highest. Oh. Yes, right behind Dark Devader. He is 6 points.
Yeah. And those were his first points of this game. So
yes,
bravo
they were.
for Mini Fridge getting those points on the board. And we do have Dark Devader back on the track.
Jamming for the Not So Jolly Rogers. Cilantro jamming for the Maelstrom.
And taking lead for Maelstrom.
Yep, half a lap behind here is Evader. Call off from the floor, 4 points. 4 cilantro. Well, he wasn't on the 4?
Yeah, he's got the 4. Yep.
Yeah, he got the 4.
Yep, he made that jump.
Wait, he made the jump and landed on the 4? Okay, that's why you're confused. I missed the jump, honestly.
Yep.
I thought he got hit. My bad.
He did get hit, but he
was awarded the points.
He was
all we were
points.
talking about. We're going to have an official review, and I'm sure we will hear from our alt ref, so I won't speculate about it too much. But I think it's going to be around our confusion, is my guess here.
That might be.
Especially since that official review has been called by the Not So Jolly Rogers. So we have been having great discussion here on the BOBH 2016 Twitter hashtag. Look at the power from Mini Fridge, paying for Casco, fueled by beer and sweat. And also from Bacon Bad, when the score doesn't reflect the competition. Yeah, it's been a tough score out there, but Casco Bay has been putting a valiant effort out there. I remember watching them in their very first game many years ago. They played against the Berserkers here, the B team for the Maelstrom. Learned a lot about playing roller derby in that game, as we all do in our first games. Some of you out there are listening and are just playing your first games now. Some have done it 10, 12 years ago. And it's a lot of improvement in Casco over the years. And I think it's a really good time to give a shout out to our medics here. They have really been amazing. Bear mentioned them earlier. They're actually circulating around the benches, which is nice. And they're doing that care and maintenance, not just I've been knocked out of the game and now I need to get attention. And I think it really makes a difference in the care of the skaters over the course of a tournament like this. It's so easy to ignore things. And the head medic is Turning Cough. He is helped out by JC, Malicious Intent, Fresh Meat, Sinful, White Lie. Now, White Lie is Sinful's daughter. So she's actually a little sinful. So that's why she's the White Lie. There you go. And Mercedes Bonds, and supported by the venue medics, Dan, Chief Ed, and Janetti, and the Shriners Fire Brigade.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. And one of the sponsors here for Battle of Bunker Hill is Rock Tape. And they have medics there who are professionals, know how to put this tape on. I can speak for that personally.
So can I.
My knee is very nicely taped up from my injury from yesterday.
And my tennis elbow is getting treated from many years of derby.
And I've seen quite a number of skaters going over there and taking advantage of the Rock Tape.
I really like Rock Tape. It really is my favorite kinetic tape. And it's just any length you want kind of thing. And the feel and the texture, the stickiness, it's just really my favorite.
Well, it definitely feels better than that heavy brace I had on earlier.
There you go. So we are getting the results of this official review from head ref Mistrial being reported to the teams. I think we're going to see Molotov Cocktail. Maybe see another shout out for him from his home team of Twin State. He's going to be our alt ref. He'll let us know what went on there and what was decided and why.
See, Coach Haley Contagious coming back with a smile on her face to the Maelstrom bench, so I get the feeling that whatever it was, Maelstrom was pleased with the result.
All right, well, we'll get on with this jam, and
we'll
we'll report into you when we hear about that. In the meantime, we have number 2, R. Conlon, on the jam line against Grim Demise. Grim Demise takes an outside line in corner 1 and picks up lead with an amazing amount of speed. She is just past Conlon, who goes for a sweep on her at the front side straightaway. Conlon, it looks like, is getting a penalty for that hit. I didn't quite catch what the penalty was, but we're just going to say it was a penalty.
It's a low block according to his jam ref.
There you go, low block. Thank you, Don't Care Bear. A knockout by Stryker. Looks like he didn't really even think twice about that. Grim Demise taking inside line. She is around a couple blockers. Hasselman goes for a hit. She just, and Stryker just about sits on her as she's falling. She calls it off after picking up 5 points.
So just to go back to that official review, Casco Bay was looking for a contact while jumping on Maelstrom's jammer. The referee said they did not see such contact, so the no call stands.
There you have it. So I think it was in that final thing there that we saw with the falling and all, but it was just for a different thing than we thought it might be. all sorts of stuff happens when people's skates leave the ground.
And one thing to remember with all these penalty calls is there must be impact, and the referees need to see the beginning and the end of all these acts. So,
And even though there's 7 of them out there, it's ridiculously easy to miss all those parts.
Yep.
So 427, some skater named X, and honestly, there may not have been anything to miss.
There might not have been anything to miss.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't mean to say that was anything on the referees. I think they probably did see all the pieces of that.
No, and I was giving an applause to them for having. There's so many variables to these calls.
Absolutely.
And if they don't see everything, there cannot be a call. And speaking from a skater perspective, I'm kind of grateful for that sometimes.
Yeah. 4 points there for Conlon. This is coming around for a second scoring pass. But it is Casco Bay who has lead jammer at the moment. I have no idea what went on with that out of play block for Rock This. And some skater named X with his lead jammer status is getting out for 4 points.
And Rock This is being waved off to skate around. I believe they felt he had gone beyond the point of no return, or perhaps skated in a clockwise manner to the blocks.
Had already passed it before he went there,
Yeah,
exactly. So you got an extra lap in there, and now the jam has ended just as he sits. Wow. Okay, so we've had a couple pretty exciting jams there. 13 points for the Maelstrom. The Casco decided to stay in that jam for 7 points, 351 to 40, halfway through the second period of the Maelstrom versus the Not So Jolly Rogers. Whew.
Yeah, quite a lot of action in that one.
A lot of action in the last couple jams. Casco Bay is really putting the heat on right now.
And we have Colleran, who's standing in the jam in the penalty box, and now is returning the track. Apologize, we don't know what he did, but as a blocker, probably had something to do with the other jammer.
There you have it. Dark Evader at that rear mess of Maelstrom blockers. Coming out of corner 1, they're at the apex.
I believe that is Cilantro.
Cilantro, yes,
and
pushing
now
against
lean.
the front wall of Not So Jolly Rogers. Jumping in front of him was Rock This, the pivot for the Not So Jolly Rogers, returning to his pack.
And Darky Vader taking a seat in the Bruce Boutique penalty box.
Fantastic spark off by Cilantro. Picks up 5 points. Just not quite enough coverage by Tugboat to get him out of bounds there. Cilantro up against Tugboat and Rock This now. Multiplayer block being called on one of them. Not sure who. We have outside Packcraft, push-up Zebra trying to get this call done, and Rock This is the skater in that 2-wall that is being sent to the box for the multiplayer block. Cilantro with amazing footwork coming out of corner 4.
Yeah, really spreading out those Not So Jolly Rogers blockers.
Dark Evader pushing at the back of the pack. He has not broke through, is that correct?
That is correct.
He's still on his initial pass. Frank and Stryker Hasselman out there right now. And with leaving, wow. Colleran as the offensive blocker gets hit in the head with an elbow. Didn't really see a call on that. But I don't know if he was hitting the head as much as he got his head up into somebody's armpit.
Yeah. And Darky Vader is on his way back on a cut track to the Bruce Boutique penalty box. And he will be taking a seat between jams, so he'll have a full 30 seconds in the next jam to think about that cut track.
Yeah, 20 points scored in that last jam for Cilantro, bringing the Maelstrom to 371. And the Not So Jolly Rogers at 40. I was going to say we haven't seen Cloud Kicker in a while, but he is out there on the track now, quickly picking up lead jammer unopposed. His blockers taking up those outside lines to prepare for surges and caps. A little bit of a cap from the pivot. Doesn't actually instantly get the jammer through. A little bit of work has to be done by Cloud Kicker as he picks up 5 points coming out of quarter 2.
And Darky Vader now standing in the penalty box, getting ready to make his return.
Cloud kicker hits that deep insider. Deep insider finds himself on the ground. Tiny cloud kicker stepping over some arms and legs, gets out again for his second scoring pass. 10 points for cloud kicker, and completing his initial pass is Dark Evader. Cloud kicker kind of hugging his blocker as he goes around the outside. No points in that particular pass. A 10-0 jam, 381 to 40.
11 point. They gave him 1 on that pass.
One more for that pass. Thank you, Bear.
My pleasure.
So we have a question from Magic Mike on BOBH 2016. Is that ref lane on the outside a little narrower than 10 feet? And I believe the answer to that is yes. That is within the rules, because if you can block the fans off from the area, your crash zone can be as little as 5 feet. And I think it's wider than that. It looks like about 8 feet. We have Andy, lead jammer for the Maelstrom, and going to the penalty box on a back block is the not-so-jolly Rogers jammer. I believe that's Nurse Smash It. It is.
It is. And Andy just going unopposed.
That is Nurse Smash It's second jam this game.
And I got a little crowd approval from Casco Bay. Getting a pretty good hit on Andy, but he just kind of shook it off and kept on going.
Right, 5 points for Andy on his second scoring pass. Here he is in his third scoring pass. Well, Nurse Smash It is standing in the Brews Boutique penalty box.
And he's right back on, kind of trailing Andy. Kind of taking his time. I think he's just going to scope out what's available and see what he can get out of this.
He's kept his cover on, though. There's not a lot of stashes out of the penalty box here. He is still working on his initial pass, and he just gets minute after minute. We have 43 seconds left in this jam as Rocket goes out of bounds, trying to hold him back. And keeping his footing with a hit from Dirty Frank and then from Mars Travolta. He still makes it through. He finally completes his initial pass with about 35 seconds left in the jam.
Oh, and he'll be gone.
That wasn't no, he's not going to the box.
That was all his skaters.
So I think he just screwing around, takes a 2-footed apex jump and lands with a slide. Slide tackles his own blocker. Penalty or not, that's just not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, that was head bruiser that he took out. He's just holding his ribs a little bit.
Last thing you need to do is be hurting your own teammates here. This is Casco Bay's last game for the event, though. I believe they've already played twice. This is their last game for the event, so hopefully everyone's okay.
We have Grim Demise out there fighting against Striker.
My Baby Daddy, not lead for a no pass, no penalty.
So lead is still open. Grim Demise has a chance at this.
And so she gets a no pass, no penalty.
So we got another 2-minute jam here.
All that time in the pack and still missed one.
Yep.
That's frustrating.
But she got the
apex jump that she lands. We've seen so many miss. That was really pretty. Sorry it was so far away from the camera. They promised next year we'll have some more cameras so you can get some different views on it. Back for her second scoring pass is Grim Demise, knocked out and drawn back by Striker. My Baby Daddy is back in it for his second scoring pass. Actually, this is
Collar is also doing a bit of a drawback. He's not letting Striker have all the glory on this.
I think this is... Oh, there we go. So, fourth scoring pass now for My Baby Daddy. He has only been getting 4-point passes. I'm surprised he hasn't lapped her at least once.
No, she's doing pretty well, staying right behind.
Well, it's 16-8, so I'm somewhere we missed some... Yeah, must have had some no pass, no penalties there for My Baby Daddy.
Yep,
there's a little confusion there, a little communication between the jam refs. A 5-point pass that time. He gets that 21 points. 4 points for Grim Demise, who's now kind of been slowed up a little now all of a sudden. She had quite the speed going before. These 2-minute jams are killer. 15 seconds left in the jam as My Baby Daddy passes her yet one more time. And since he did it before they exited the engagement zone, he gets the 5 points right there. 5-4 pass. It's 31-12. in this jam, both knocked out of bounds.
And Grim Demise was
And
after
a
the one that
cut
took him.
check on Grim Demise there as we came to 2 minutes. It's going to put her in the penalty box. She'll have a 60-second rest, 30 seconds between the jams, 30 seconds in the penalty box, and we have a timeout for White. So I think we have, My Baby Daddy has just broke his own points in a jam record at 31. Not sure if a couple were missed there on the lap points, but Grim Demise posted 12. That now ties her with Dark Evader for the highest scoring jammers for the Not So Jolly Rogers at 19 each.
So going back to our Twitter feed, hashtag BOBH2016, listed on the roster for Maelstrom, 2-pack shocker. We call out the entire roster, but we kind of knew ahead of time he wasn't going to be on the track because he is out with an ankle injury. But he is giving a shout out. He is actually here in the venue and watching our Twitter feed, making sure that we're getting all the facts for Maelstrom.
And he's got a rather smiling picture for being an injured skater.
Yeah, a lot of injuries.
Yeah, we put on a smile on Twitter.
You got to put a smile on because your team's still doing well.
They are.
You got to appreciate that.
Maelstrom is doing amazing, and it's hard to put it on an event like this. I mean, the production here has been tremendous. They have really done an amazing job and are taking care of all the people that are putting this on, and then they're still playing this amazing roller derby. 4:37 to 52. The clock is stopped at 6:31 left in the second period. We're going to be getting going with Conlon on the jam line for Maelstrom. Grim Demise in the penalty box for the Not So Jolly Rogers. So Maelstrom has goaded Dark Evader, the pivot for the Not So Jolly Rogers.
I have a feeling the reason he's sticking back there is I think he's going to be ready and available for Grim Demise.
Maybe. I think we've seen that before from Casco Bay.
Yeah.
We certainly saw it a lot in the last game. And through for 5 points, that is Conlon. Grim Demise now is going to see what she can do. She goes by Striker, but taken out a little bit, swept to the side by... I'm going to Mars Travolta, but there was that cover pass that Bear warned us about earlier, and that is now Dark Evader toe-stopping and spinning around the inside line around the 1-2 apex. He's taking his time finding the right side of that cover to put it on, and the jam gets called by Conlon. We're going to see hopefully a couple more points for him. Yeah, 5 more points for him, brings him to 10. 4:47 for the Maelstrom, 52 for Casco Bay. My Baby Daddy's still the high scorer for the Maelstrom at 118, but a bunch. Andy R. Conlon and Kenny Cloudkicker at 87, 88, and 89 points. So really close there in that part of the jammer rotation. Rock this jamming for the Not So Jolly Rogers.
This is what his fourth time out.
Yeah, Kenny Cloudkicker out there now for the Maelstrom.
And he is your lead jammer.
Yep.
Rock this still had a little trouble with Striker.
Yep, drawn back almost to the apex of 3-4. Can't really get past the front side straightaway in his initial pass.
Yeah, you got kind of a 1-2 punch of Pickering and no big deal, and then Striker pitching cleanup one if he gets past them.
And he does. He's now going to put the pressure on Kenny Cloudkicker to call it off. Cloudkicker calls it off after picking up another 4. Brings him to 9, 456 to 52. So we have broken that 400-point spread. It's probably not going to meet the Shock Exchange's 464 spread from yesterday because we have only 4 minutes left in this game. My Baby Daddy returns to the jam line for the Maelstrom. Some skater named X. For the Not So Jolly Rogers. My Baby Daddy with a couple shoulders pushes right through that front wall of the Not So Jolly Rogers. Jolly Rogers coming back, trying to play a little offense. It means they're not going to be together. When My Baby Daddy comes in for a great apex jump at corner 1, pulls off 5 points without even breaking much of a stride. Drawn back by Hasselman. Skater X is taking his time to reset. He has pushed the Maelstrom to almost out of corner 2 after 35 seconds of play. My Baby Daddy into his 3rd scoring pass. A slight drawn out there in the backside straightaway, but he just keeps that footwork going and separating these not so Jolly Rogers. A last hit by Dottie Dangers, kind of a Hail Mary there.
Yep, but she's been doing right. She's been switching back and forth between offense and defense, and she's got good intuition of when that should happen.
Yeah.
She's been right there. And we do have a star pass.
To Shazama Pajama now is your jammer, still with the pivot cover on his head showing. He's finding the inside of that jammer cover, on and off to readjust it.
Making sure those stars are showing just in case they let him get around to get those points.
I haven't actually seen it, but I can't imagine anyone still having non-reversible covers in Derby today. But it does happen. 2:26 left in the game, 474 to 52. That was 18 points for My Baby Daddy, moving him up to 136 points in this game. Amazing score, amazing.
Darky Vader up against Cilantro again. And Cilantro just,
a little offensive help by a deep insider off the jam line for Darky Vader, but it's not enough because that is Cilantro lead for Maelstrom.
What is his percentage? I think he's had a pretty good percentage. Yeah, he's 67% lead.
Cilantro.
Yep.
With that jam, moved him up to 71. And Vader kept him to only 1 point in that jam. Moves him to 475 to 52. So up next after this game, we have, I have it on my phone, we have the Montreal Men's Roller Derby versus the New York Shock Exchange. Those two have been some of the highest scoring teams in this tournament. Montreal and Shock Exchange only had Montreal 2 games yesterday. And Elite Jam, is that Rock This? No, yes, that is Rock This.
Yep, there was a big pile
so low.
Yeah, there was a big pile up there, and he took advantage of it.
I think he got a jammer lap point now, too. Oh, there was a cover pass to Andy. Cover stash, because he didn't have the pivot cover on. So we have cover stash by Andy, gets him out of the pack, you got to put some pressure on. But Rock This is definitely rocking this. Andy getting trouble from Grim Demise in the front. It's pretty much all Grim Demise, and then a little help by Dottie Danger. Last attempt.
Nurse smash it.
No impact, though. Rock This decides he's had enough after getting 4 points. Can't tell if it's 3 or 4.
We got 3 for Casco Bay, 4 on the pass from Maelstrom. And Casco Bay is not done with this. They want one more jam. They just called a timeout.
Yeah, and Robert Fowler here, he chimes in with what we were saying earlier. It is hard to host and play a tournament. It's hard to host and play a game. As we all know, I mean, so many of you listening at home know what it's like to produce your own game and how that affects your game. And then imagine producing 10 games and playing 4 yourself or 3 yourself.
And having to make some, pretty last-minute schedule changes. There was
lots of craziness with shifting the schedule around. So, obviously the Maelstrom's only playing 3 games, but the Berserkers have a game too. So, really, the Massachusetts Men's Roller Derby are putting on 4 games of their own, plus all these others. Less than a minute left on the.
No, we got 19 seconds.
Yeah,
on
we
the
had
clock.
a timeout stopping the clock at 19 seconds. We're going to start this last jam. We have Conlon on the jam line against Dark Evader. Everyone standing. Hi, My Baby Daddy waving from here. I think he's waving to all his fans at home who have been tweeting about him. And this is going to be a little hard. Maelstrom standing at their bench, so Bear and I don't have the best view. We have the view you have, that is lead jam goes to Conlon.
And he's just watching his bench and watching the clock.
Yeah.
I have a feeling as soon as that expires.
1-0. And I don't know if they're going to play much more. We're still going with the period clock expired. There we go.
He said, am I done now? Oh, I'm done now.